Hey, Tuna here. Rather than do an install video, today I wanted to shed some light on this Android head unit I'm sure you've seen in various places on the internet. Think of it more as a things I learned while buying video. I was interested in installing it on my Chevy Sonic, so I did some digging. A lot of digging. Spoiler alert, they're all the same. Well, mostly the same. More on that later. As a starting point, I looked through Facebook. There have been several users that had done this before. They all look identical, yet seem to come from different companies at different prices. This user grabbed one branded Confine that came in a Confine box with Confine manual. Confine is a wholesale retailer, not a manufacturer. This user grabbed an unbranded one from Seicane.com that when searching the model number, I also found on Alibaba, made by Shenzhen Tsuruda Electronics Company. This user found the Confine branded one on Amazon. This user bought from AliExpress under the brand LEHX. Honestly, looking at anything for sale on AliExpress makes my head hurt. It's like it's visually designed to confuse the f*** out of you. And you think that's bad? Go into the product and go into the color options and see the headache that ensues. To anyone that shops at AliExpress, do you ever actually know what you're buying? The three most commonly branded units you find on Amazon are Junsun, Assure, and AI Navito. I mean, look at all these options. They are visually identical. The sticker on the one I bought was XT892C. Search for that online and you'll find a plethora of 9-inch, 2 gig plus 32 gig models that go in tons of different vehicles. The point is, no matter what brand label or reseller name is attached to the unit, one thing is almost certain. The host device, as they call it, are all primarily made by the Shenzhen Tsuruda Electronics Company, aka Seicane, or Shenzhen Mekede Technology Company, aka Mekede Tech. Back to what I said about mostly the same. True, each host device has the same screen form factor and bezel buttons, but judging from all the options found on Alibaba, AliExpress, Amazon, and even the Mekede manufacturer's website, there are some differences in internals. For example, Mekede shows that the M200 series and up has a cooling fan where the M150 and lower does not. Looking at their comparison sheet, you can see a variety of different features, but again, all sharing the same screen. Remember, at the end of the day, it's just a fancy Android tablet with a little bit of automotive hardware built into it. What I think is most important to look at is the RAM and processor, as theoretically that will affect your performance. When I purchased mine, I wasn't too concerned with internal storage because I didn't intend on installing a bunch of apps or storing media on the device locally. Speaking of hardware, let's talk core components. You might have noticed I've been calling the unit host device, not just because that's what the manufacturer calls it. It's because this tablet is used for a wide variety of vehicles. All it really takes is the host device and a CAN bus adapter / decoder. When I started playing around in the unit I ordered, I realized there were admin settings that could change my CAN bus parameter to other vehicle manufacturers and models. All down the left-hand side of the menu were CAN bus manufacturers, and then inside each one of those menus was other menus that had a plethora of vehicle makes and models, or a combination therein. So as long as you have the right CAN adapter and host device and a means of mounting it, you're actually good to go. I've even seen this unit installed on a 2011 Ferrari California. How? Well, they bought the right CAN bus and adjusted the right settings within the host device. But that's where they get you. Something I noticed on my deep dive is you'll wind up paying a premium just for the dashboard surround if it belongs on a premium vehicle. Meaning when they pair the host device to a Chevy Sonic trim piece, they only charge $50, but when they pair the same host device to a BMW trim piece, they charge $500. Now, I'm not saying you should source the CAN bus adapter, host device, and trim piece separately, although it is possible. The benefit to buying the kit that's specific to your vehicle is that it typically arrives with the correct CAN bus adapter, car settings pre-configured, and a trim piece to match. So what about my experience? For context, I put about 800 miles on my vehicle after install, and so far, I absolutely love it, if even for just the Apple CarPlay. Now, although what I had purchased said Android OS 12, it came loaded with 13. In fact, it looked like all the software had been updated prior to shipment. It wouldn't surprise me if all these host units are by themselves in default unit settings until the order gets placed, at which point it's paired with the appropriate CAN bus, pre-configured for the car and mounted to the interior trim piece before shipping. The unit does come with other preloaded automotive-specific apps, like ones that interface with the vehicle's CAN bus for some basic readouts. And given it used the Android OS and Google Play stores, I'm sure there's tons more you can do with it. I just didn't bother getting into the weeds because I was perfectly happy with CarPlay at the time. Now, there were 2 occasions that my car refused to connect to the Z-Link 5 or whatever the app is called that actually hosts CarPlay, but a good off and on kind of resolved that. And since then, it hasn't given me any issues. Overall, I'm very pleased. So here's where I go off script a little bit. If I had to do it all over again, I would have probably bought one of the units from, say, like AliExpress or Alibaba, something that's like maybe 50 or 60 bucks. Although I bought the one that was off of Amazon, I had read from other folks that were on Facebook and other social media that it actually worked, and I was not looking to buy something that didn't work. But I would make sure that I was buying something that has the CAN bus that goes with my vehicle, and cross my fingers that it was actually going to be programmed before it left the warehouse. And then of course get something with the internal cooling fan, and I'm saying maybe like 64 gigs of storage, and then I would go from 2 to maybe 4 or higher gigs of RAM, because again, I'm looking to get better performance, although by no means does the one I have now underperform compared to other things out on the market. Well, I hope this video helps you decide what kind of unit you want and where, if it even matters, you get it from. And if you want to see how I install it on a 2014 Chevrolet Sonic, stay tuned. That video will be coming here shortly. Thanks for watching.